Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the match here on WWE 2K25. This one is a Battle of the Legends, a CMLL Legends. Perro Aguayo takes on New Japan legend Kenta Kobashi. Now, Perro Aguayo is someone who we have never used before in a Universe mode. We have used his son, Perro Aguayo Jr., but we've never used the senior, who wrestled a long time ago. Debuted in 1968 and retired in 2007. Worked many different companies, including both AAA and CMLL, and was also in the 1997 Royal Rumble. There was that one year, I don't know if you've ever seen it, where there was quite a few AAA names in the Rumble, including Mil Mascaras, El Canek, Hector Garza, Heavy Metal, which was pretty cool. And one of them, of course, was Perro Aguayo. So great to see him get an opportunity. As far as I'm aware, according to ChatGPT anyway, he is a real heavy hitter. So I think the underground style is going to suit him very, very well. And the fact that he also worked for AAA means that if we want to, we can also utilize him next week as part of our When Worlds Collide. Maybe it's a potential opponent for Hogan. Although the fluffy leg guards make me really want to give him an opportunity against Bruiser Brody as well at some point. And then we have Kenta Kobashi. Currently on 0 after 21 matches. He's had a pretty rough year this year with -2 from 2. So he's had 2 matches, a singles match and a tag team match, and lost them both. And they were both as part of this 2-week Forbidden Door. So he does need to turn things around. He's never been that great, to be honest. He had 10 matches last year as part of the G1 Climax and the All-Asian Championship Tournament, and he finished it on a 0. So he's just sort of floating in the middle, and he's someone who is one of the best wrestlers of all time and deserves to be right high up in the rankings. But again, it's my fault, because whenever we put him up against somebody, same with a lot of the big names, same with Punk, who's struggling so much this year, whenever we put him up against somebody, it's always a very, very strong competitor, and it makes it a lot more difficult for him to win matches. Right then, the referee going to give us the rules. There's no pinfalls, there's no counts. The only way to win is by submission, knockout, or referee stoppage. And of course, there are people outside the ring. This is going to be a real battle, this one. I'm assuming these two guys never met each other, but I'm going to Google it just in case. Perro Aguayo versus Kenta. Why have I've typed in Perro Aguayo versus, and I put in K-E-N. And the first suggestion is Kendrick Lamar. I'm pretty sure Perro Aguayo never faced Kendrick Lamar in a match. Perro Aguayo versus Kenta Kobashi. Great. Google's version of AI has brought back the information in Spanish, which is useful. Everything's come back in Spanish for some reason. It doesn't look like it ever has happened. No, it doesn't look as it has happened. There are matches on YouTube. Conan, Perro Aguayo, and Mil Mascaras versus Fisherman, Cien Caras, and Summer and the Killer. Okay. But no, this match never happened in real life, but it would have been a fantastic match if it ever had, I think. 2 real stiff brutes. Look at Kobashi just dumping Perro Aguayo to the outside, then absolutely dropping his body weight across him. I do think that Perro Aguayo, I can't even say his name anymore. Perro Aguayo versus Hulk Hogan should be one of our matches for the next couple of weeks. I was thinking Mil Mascaras for Hogan as well, potentially. I know I've had a suggestion of Mr. America taking on Mil Mascaras. I mean, we'll keep milking the Hogan matches until the views die off, and it doesn't seem to ever happen, to be honest, because he's just such a popular guy. I suppose there's a lot of different places around the world, and in those places, he is still legendary. As Aguayo, look at that running forearm, completely flattened Kenta Kobashi. Wow, brutal. Perro Aguayo now mounting the back of Kenta Kobashi. He's able to roll it through. Kobashi now with a gut wrench, taking Perro Aguayo up and into the gut wrench suplex. Now, of course, referee stoppage is only ever going to happen if the referee believes that one person is far too damaged to continue on. So it is the most common way for someone to win these matches. Look at that, just picked him up and dropped him right onto the boot, and his head actually hit the mat as well. Perro Aguayo bringing Kobashi back up to a standard base for sending him back into the ring. And now look at the big boots right across the face. And Perro Aguayo's looking very, very good here. Like I said, this is his debut. I've lost my voice. Right, we're back. This is his debut in this universe mode. Never used him before. And I'd like to use him again. That's the thing. We keep coming up with these people that we haven't used before. And a lot of them are obvious ones. Say, Perro Aguayo Sr. is an obvious person that we should be utilising more. He is one of the legends of Mexican wrestling. It just makes complete sense. And just a little bit of a... It's not the nicest thing to go into, is it really? But you might recognise the name Perro Aguayo because it was his son, Perro Aguayo Jr., who was the one who passed away in the match with Rey Mysterio back in 2015. So if you're wondering where you may have heard the name from, that was something that did happen, of course. As Perro Aguayo went for that running forearm again, but Kenta Kobashi able to duck underneath it this time. There's the elbows into the gut by Kobashi. Gets around the back of Perro Aguayo before now sending him towards the edge of the ring and now picking up... Oh my god, it's a superplex to the outside. Kenta Kobashi absolutely dropped him there, so painful. That backdrop to the outside onto the matting. We spoke before that matting. It is so thin. There's barely anything to it, really. It's literally about an inch thick, if that, and it's just... You could easily do some serious damage to your spine. As Kobashi now taken... Oh, lovely. Taking Perro Aguayo up into a suplex, then caught him into the powerbomb. Now going to roll him over before locking... Oh, that's a nice submission. Not seen that one before. But able to roll him through. Probably why I haven't seen it before is it's a pretty easy one to break free from. So don't forget we've got a few more matches left for you today. Next up we've got a 6-man tag elimination as L.I.J., Rush, Dragon Lee and Andrade take on Suzuki Gun, Minoru Suzuki, Zack Sabre Jr. and Lance Archer. Later on we have got Athena going one-on-one. Oh my god. Athena going one-on-one against Chris Statlander. Before the final individual match of the day, Kota Ibushi, Hiromu Takahashi and Mike Bailey in a triple threat match. And then we get into our 7-match pay-per-view. Sting, AJ Styles, Atlantis and Hiroshi Tanahashi in a 4-way legendary battle. Aja Kong defends Women's Hardcore Championship against Natsuko Tora. Razor defends the Underground Championship against Jon Moxley. Mercedes Moné defends the YouTube Women's Championship against Stephanie Vaquer. War Games between the Don Callis family and the House of Torture. Jushin Thunder Liger, El Santo, Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson, another Legends 4-way before Swerve, Bandido and Will Ospreay for the Intercontinental Championship. What a match this was. Real brutal. Finished a little bit quicker than I expected, to be honest, but it was a real brutal clash between these two. And it brings me to want to use the pair of them more. I mean, obviously, moving into When Worlds Collide, I don't think Kenta Kobashi can be used. However, Perro Aguayo is someone we can definitely bring in. And like I said, a potential opponent for Hogan. And then just because of the fluffy leg guards, I'd like to use him against Bruiser Brody as well. Which I'm assuming we can do with Bruiser Brody, because of course he did work... Did he work WWF a long time ago? Let's use the old Google. He wrestled for the WWF, that counts, I think. We'll use it, why not? There we go, Kenta Kobashi does pick up the victory in what was a very hard-fought match. Perro Aguayo does lose his debut, but like I said, I don't think this will be the end of him. We'll definitely see more, including next week as part of our When Worlds Collide pay-per-view. So Kenta Kobashi moves up to a +1 now after 22 matches, and Perro Aguayo Sr. on his debut moves down to a -1. But there are plenty of opportunities still to come in the future for a chance for both these guys to elevate themselves, because they both should be a hell of a lot higher than the current rankings have them. Right, I'm going to love you, leave you good night, God bless, I'll be the same. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.